All right, so we're going to talk about proportions today. So what a proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equal. So for example, we have A over B equal to X over Y. So those are two ratios and they're set equal to each other. To solve a proportion, we use cross products property. And what that is the cross products of a proportion are equal. So what we can do is we can multiply diagonally across the equal sign and we get AY equals BX. So then we don't have any more fractions or ratios. So we're going to take a look at a few examples. The first example is X over 120 equals 1 over 24. So we're going to, again, use cross products property. So we're going to take X times 24, which that equals 24X. And then 120 times 1 is 120. And again, we're setting those equal to each other. So once we cross multiply, the fractions go away and we're just left with an equal sign and equation. So we have a one-step equation here. So we're going to divide by 24. So we get X equals 5. Our next example is A minus 2 over 9 equals 2 over 3. So I'm going to put this in parentheses because that is the quantity A minus 2. So I want to make sure when I cross multiply that I'm multiplying both the A and that negative 2. So again, we're going to take A minus 2 times 3. I'm going to put that 3 out front though, so it's easier and looks more how it should look when I go to distribute it through. And then 9 times 2 is 18. And again, there's an equal sign now and there's no fractions left. So to solve this, we're going to distribute 3. So 3 times A is 3A. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And equals 18. And plus 6 on each side. So we get 3A equals 24. And if we divide by 3, we get A equals 8. Next, we have 3 over 3b plus 4 equals 2 times b minus 4. Again, those quantities I'm putting in parentheses. So I'm going to take 3 times b minus 4 equals, go across the other way, 3b plus 4 times 2. And again, I'm going to put that 2 in front so it's easier to distribute. So now we're going to distribute. So we get 3b minus 12 equals 2 times 3b is 6b, and then a positive 8. So I'm going to subtract the 3b over, and so I get negative 12 equals 3b plus 8, and I'm going to subtract 8, so I get negative 20 equals 3b, and my last step is to divide by 3. So my final answer, I'm just going to leave as an improper fraction of negative 20 over 3. So one more example like that. Again, c plus 1 over c minus 2, both of those I'm putting in parentheses, equals 4 over 7. So I'm going to cross multiply. So I have 7 times c plus 1 equals c minus 2 times 4, putting the 4 out front so I can distribute. And then I'm going to distribute, so I get 7c plus 7 equals 4c minus 8. So positive times negative gives us a negative 8 there. I'm going to subtract the 4c over. So I get 3c plus 7 equals negative 8. Subtract 7 on both sides. So I get 3c equals negative 15, and divide by 3, so my final answer is c equals negative 5. Our last example is going to be a word problem. So this says a florist is making the centerpieces. He uses 2 dozen roses for every 5 centerpieces. How many dozen roses will he need to make 20 centerpieces? So if we're looking at what we're talking about centerpieces and roses. And dozens of roses. So I'm going to decide if I want dozens of roses to go on the top and centerpieces to go on the bottom. So that way when I set up my ratios, I'm making sure I'm putting things in the correct places to make them actually equal. So the first thing it says is 2 dozen roses, so 2 dozen, the 2 is going to go on top, for every 5 centerpieces. So centerpieces goes on the bottom. So that's why I'm going to set up my first fraction. Then equals how many dozen roses. So again, I'm looking for a dozen roses. We don't know how many that is, so that's going to go with X on the top. And then 20 centerpieces, so the 20 is going to go on the bottom. So now I have 2 ratios equal to each other. So now we're going to solve again by cross multiplying. So 2 times 20 is going to equal 5 times x, so 5x. 2 times 20 is 40, equals 5x. And then we're going to divide by 5, so we get x equals 8. So 8 dozen roses per 20 centerpieces.